Good afternoon, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. I also want to give all praises to the earthly mother, the Holy Spirit. I pray they bless this lesson today and we get some clarification and some understanding. Today, we're going to be getting into Greeks and, like Galatians 3 and 28 that the Christians love to go to, talking about no difference between Jew nor Greek. And we're going to be showing that there is a difference between Greeks and what people perceive as Greeks, and these differences are actually even still present today. Back in the time of the Maccabees, the Greeks were in charge, and the Greeks forced the Israelites to walk away from their law, statutes, and commandments and conform to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Greeks. They had to learn to speak Greek. They had to take on Greek customs, Greek names, okay, and a Greek way of life. And what's amazing is that all the way during that time, of course, the Hebrews were forced to conform, and that has continued all the way till today. Okay, we got ourselves calling ourselves, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, African Americans. We call ourselves Dominicans. Okay, all these different things. Seminoles, Native Americans. We call it many different things. Some people call themselves British, Australian. Okay, and but the same thing is that's what's been happening. The whole point was to make sure, like in Psalms 83, that the Hebrews forgot who they were, and they would have to assimilate to wherever it is that they were born. They assume like their citizenship or like where they're born is their nationality, and that's not the case. And there's a prime example we're going to be getting into today about this NBA player named Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly or not, but he's a really good player. Plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. They love to call him the Greek Freak. Because he's a really good basketball player. From time to time, I'd play a little NBA 2K18 and like to use him because he's a really good player. I don't play as much as I used to. I used to play a lot, but once I got into the truth, I haven't spent as much time playing any video games because I got other things that kind of pursue my time and other things I actually do. So, but from time to time, I try to play once in a while with the kids and things like that. And he's a really good player for the Milwaukee Bucks. And what's funny is, how the Most High uses all different avenues. He's been a good player, but this year he's just exploded. And he's like an MVP candidate, and he's just all over the place. So anytime, you're looking at stuff in the NBA, they're always bringing him up. And they're always talking about how he's the Greek Freak. Well, I think in February, they were at an all-star game. And it's funny because a reporter kind of let the whole thing about the differences between the Greeks kind of slip out there. And of course, most people, 99% of people, this is going to go over people's heads, what he said. But, people who've actually read the Apocrypha, the book of Maccabees, will know exactly what he's talking about. But I love the way that the Most High works, because the Most High made this reporter kind of pull out this statement, and everyone thought it was a racist statement, and this, and that. But what it was is he was bringing out truth that most people have no idea about. Let's take a look real quick at this article. Check this out. This is the Most High right here, because I kind of thought about this topic, or the Most High put it on me this morning. So I was just kind of looking at a couple little things here and there, kind of looked, just doing a little research, and then this pops up. This is the Most High right here. Greek reporter makes racist remark against NBA star Giannis Antetokounmpo. Professional basketball player Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, has been often targeted by racists. The latest incident occurred 2 days ago in New Orleans when a Greek journalist asked Coach Steve Kerr at a press conference whether the Milwaukee Bucks star was a black Greek. That's funny. Why would they say anything about a black Greek? I thought, when you're talking about Galatians 3 and 28, they love to talk about how, no difference between Jew nor Greek. So, and Greek just represents everyone. But this reporter knows there's a difference between the white Greeks and the black Greeks. Okay? Because the black Greeks, of course, were forced to convert, and there were Hebrews that were forced to convert. And they were forced to convert at the end of a sword. And this is like a history that's been hidden. But of course, they know the truth, but it's just most of our people have no idea about the truth. Like, so I love watching this old movie. Well, this movie's not that old. 300. It kind of gets you hyped up when you're looking at all the fighting and all the stuff that they used to do and things like that. But in those movies, how do they portray the Greeks? There's Giannis, the Greek freak, the black Greek. Okay. His parents were actually born in Nigeria. And of course, Hebrews are scattered all over the place. We have, there's some Hebrews definitely in the land of Ham. They're still in Africa. Okay, you got them all. Hey, we have Hebrews on all four corners. But I love the fact that they love to now, accept, him because, he's actually bringing a lot of notoriety to the land of Greece. But did you know when his family immigrated to Greece? I think he has 3 or 4 brothers. They were all born in Greece, but the Greeks did not accept him, and they didn't give him papers when he was born. And he actually didn't have papers from Greece or from Nigeria for the first 18 years of his life. So they weren't going to accept him then, okay? But all of a sudden he became a basketball superstar. Then all of a sudden they fast-tracked all the paperwork and they claimed him and gave him his citizenship. But, if we're all, you're all Greeks and you're all the same, why would there be some kind of a difference? But, they love to now call him the Greek freak, and they love now to, accept him as one of their own, because now he's a superstar, and he's bringing a lot of positive notoriety, of course, to the country. But when we watch movies, do they actually show a lot of Greeks being black? Here's my movie here that I like to watch here. 300. Good example right here. Here's one of the battle scenes right here. And when they like to show, the people from Sparta fighting, you see them all. I don't see any people of color here. I see nothing but white people here. Okay? So when they're talking about Greece, most of the time they like to actually go this route and concentrate on the white Greeks, of course. All right? Because, that's their history, But now, when like that reporter was asking, you go back here, asking again, whether the Milwaukee Star was a black Greek. Okay. Now we're going to get into the Bible, of course, to explain why there's black Greeks and white Greeks, because really the black Greeks aren't Greeks at all. The black Greeks here that they're talking about are Hebrews who were forced to convert. And someone came on the comment board talking about, oh man, these people, Greek has always meant Greek. And I don't know what the heck else. This guy was just kind of going off on some kind of a tangent. But of course, if you don't know the history, you don't understand what's really been going on. And that's what we're going to be getting into today. How we have these black Greeks. And of course, this guy the reporter got into a lot of trouble for making this racist statement. This, not. But they know there's a difference. They know this guy right here, Giannis, is not who they're talking about when they're talking about Greeks. When you're talking about Greeks and Spartas and all the stuff that the Greeks have accomplished, they're talking to people that look like this. Okay? Not like this. And just to show you that they actually treat him like a second-class citizen, even though he was born there, he still didn't receive his papers, neither did his brothers. Not until he could do something for them did they then accept him. Okay? And that's how they've always treated us. No matter we go to all these different countries, they say you're an American, but we treat you like a second-class citizen. Oh, if you're black and you're in Australia, you're going to be treated like a second-class citizen. Same thing of anywhere we go, we're treated like second-class citizens. Okay. And now here we go. Let's get to some scripture though. Explain this here today. We're going to go into First Maccabees, chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. Okay, and this part right there in verse 43 is actually linked to Psalms. Let's get that really quick. Get that. Psalms 106, chapter 106. Making my way here. 106, verses 28, 29. 28, 29. They joined themselves unto Baalpeor, and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Thus they provoked him to anger with their inventions, and the plague brake in upon them. So when we start sacrificing to other idols, the plagues and everything are going to break in to us. All right, let's continue now with 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, okay, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. And these are the things that they were forcing the Hebrews to do, to conform to the ways of the Greeks. And this is what's been hidden. They always hide this 400 years of silence. No, there wasn't 400 years of silence. These are all the things that the Greeks were making the Hebrews do. And they don't want to talk about that. Okay? And then let's see here. Verse 46 is linked with Exodus 19 and 6. Let's get that real quick. Exodus chapter 19, verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. So the Israelites are supposed to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a set-apart nation, to be separate. But of course, the Greeks wanted us to do exactly the same things that they do and profane our ways. And many of the Israelites chose to do that or die. Okay, we'll continue, and you'll see that shortly. Let's go to verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So if you didn't do what the king said, you were going to die. So therefore, you're going to change your name. You're going to change the way you live. You're going to change who you're praying to. You're going to change all of the laws. And they wanted us to forget the laws. If you go to 49, it says right there, to the end. That's what their main goal is, that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, which is exactly what has happened. That's why I have all these people talking to me about Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, because they've forgotten the law and all the ordinances. And now we follow the ways of the other nations, of the Greeks, of the Romans, of the heathen. And this was set in motion all the way back during the time of the Greeks. I want to say this was a BC 168 BC when this was going on. That's what my Bible is talking about here, around that time, around 168 BC. So this has been going on for a couple thousand years to make sure that we forgot our ordinances and our ways, and we were following the ways of the heathen. And if we didn't do it, we were killed. Okay? And this is linked up here, verse 48 is linked up with Genesis 17, verses 9 and 14. So let's get that real quick. Genesis chapter 17, verses 9. Verse 9. And the Most High said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee and their generations. Verse 14. And the uncircumcised man, child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. Now, the circumcision is a couple ways. Of course, it's the physical one, but it's also the one of the heart. When you're uncircumcised, it's like you walk away from the Most High and his laws, and you start to follow the ways of the heathen. And that's actually talked about here in First Maccabees as well. And we're going to get that because actually, if you go back up here to verse 41, where it says, moreover, well, let's finish up to 52 first, then I'm going to switch. Okay, so we got 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Okay, so that was pretty much the Hebrews' ultimatum. Either you do what we say, or we're going to kill you. And we'll probably go into a little bit of examples of that. And this is why these books have been hidden. Okay, in the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers, just like cops, people like overseers. Okay, officer, overseer, that's what you get this from. They're appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. So we had overseers back then to make sure that we were conforming to their laws. And just like we have overseers now you call them officers, police officers, okay, to make sure that we're conforming to their ways all the way till today. Nothing changes, nothing new under the sun. And that's why you have commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. That's why you got officers in, you'll have officers in LA, you have officers in Orange County, you have officers in San Francisco, you have officers in Sacramento, you have officers in all the little cities. This is where all this stuff comes from. Then 52. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. So many of the people agreed to this because it was like they were like, either we agree or we're going to get killed. Okay, and that's what was going on right here. All right. Now, if you go back here real quick, we have, what is this? Verse 41. Let me read that one more time. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. That is linked up with verse 15 in the same chapter. So it's chapter 1, verse 15. And I've done like a video on this one before. Here it is right here. Verse 1 of chapter 1, First Maccabees, verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. This is talking about the evil Israelites who have decided to leave their ways and follow the ways of the other nations. And I did a video on this a while ago about who Paul was really talking to. And if you want to go back and look at that video, you can go back and reference that video. But if you look here in the letter G here in 15, you look at letter G, like on the side, that is where you get 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 18. So if you're not going to accept Maccabees, you can't accept Paul either. Because Paul is pulling from this, from 1 Maccabees. So I don't want to hear people like, well, Paul says. If you don't accept the Apocrypha and what the Apocrypha says, you can't accept what Paul's talking about. Because Paul is pulling from this book. You can't pick and choose which books you guys want to accept and which ones you don't want to accept, because this gives you understanding as to what, and clarity as to what Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians 7 and 18. He was talking about, when he's talking about circumcision and uncircumcision, he's talking about Israelites who were following the commandments and the ones that were not. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the ones that decided to keep following the commandments and face death, or the ones who said they were not going to follow the commandments anymore and we're going to follow the ways of the Greeks and we're going to live. That's what he was talking about. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue here. Let's see. We're going to continue reading here in 1 Maccabees chapter 1, 53 through 64. Give you a little understanding as to what was going on to the Hebrews that decided not to follow the ways of the Greeks. So it wasn't like, okay, you guys, well, we'll respect the fact that you guys don't want to follow our ways and let you go ahead and continue. That's not what they did. And see, and that's what, and when you hide these books, you can kind of make it seem like that. Okay, but that's not what was going on. Let's continue. 1 Maccabees 1, 53 through 64. Okay. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Now the 15th day of the month, Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. Now, see, they're burning our books. That's exactly what they've been doing. They hide information. They burn the books. They get rid of things. Just like when the Europeans came here, they burnt the books of the Native Americans as well. So they're following a pattern. They're hiding information. They're hiding information on who's who and what's what and what you're supposed to be doing. Because remember, their whole end game was, of course, to get you to leave your laws and follow their laws and follow their ordinances. So therefore, they're going to hide all that information however they want to. If that means burning all the books, that's fine. If that's killing you because you don't want to follow their ways, that they're going to do whatever it is that they want to do in order to promote their goals. But here's an example right there of what they're doing: burning books, burning their information. We read that again on 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And wheresoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. So if you even got caught with a book, your book of the law, of your testament, you were killed. So you can see how quickly it is that people will forget, because it was death. If you remembered who you were, if you tried to follow your ways, you would be put to death. Verse 58, thus did they, by their authority unto the Israelites, every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Okay, hold on real quick. Okay. Let's see here. Now, the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice unto the idol altar, which was upon the altar of the Most High, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women. So this is what they're doing to our women as well. Okay, that had caused their children to be circumcised. Now, that could be a physical circumcision, but that could also be the women that were teaching their children the ways of the Most High and how to follow our law, statutes, and commandments as well. Okay, and they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in these and themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. So this was a huge persecution of the Israelites. Okay, and that's what is hidden. This information has been hidden because they don't want you to know what the Greeks did. Now, what would happen if many people here were forced to either conform to the ways of the land, or they were going to follow their own ways? Many people are going to choose to conform. And that's what's happened, just like during slavery. When we got here, we had our certain names. And just like I remember in Roots, when Kunta Kinte was told his name was Toby, and he said he didn't want to, nope, my name is Kunta Kinte, and they just beat him and beat him and beat him until he called himself Toby. Same thing. They're going to beat him or they're going to kill him. That's the same kind of thing that was happening back here in the time of the Greeks, was happening when we were brought here to serve slavery here in the Americas. Okay? Nothing new under the sun. So the same people that was happening to back then, or the same people this is going to happen to again, because it happens again and again and again. That's how you tell who the true Israelites are, because they're the ones who are going through all these different captivities again and again and again, because that's what was prophesied to happen. Okay? But that was the main thing here we're taking a look at, is if they did not conform, they would be killed. They put overseers in the cities, and during the time of the Greeks, we have overseers during the time of slavery. We have overseers even now. It's no different. So if you look around and you see things that are like, if you look in history, you look in the Bible, the same things that were happening back then are the same things that are happening now. Nothing different. Okay. Now, let me see here. What I want to read next. Let's see. I want to go over this one more example here. I want to say this is First Maccabees chapter 2. We're going to do 17 through 38. I'm just going to read it really quick. Okay. Because, in case some people haven't read it, this is another example of what the Greeks did to the Hebrews and when they did not conform. Okay. Second Maccabees chapter 2, verse 17. It's going to read to 38. Okay. Let's see here. Then answer the king's officers. Okay. Just like their officers, just like their police back then, they have them back, they have them now too. Okay. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias, okay, on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in the city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first, and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also. And such as remain at Jerusalem, so shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. So he's trying to get him to come out first, Mattathias, and do the abominable things to make it okay for everybody else too. Okay. And if he does it, he's going to be rewarded with silver and gold, and he'll be counted as a friend of the king. Okay. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away, every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. So he's going to follow the ways of the Most High. Okay. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled, neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. So he went and killed the guy. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of the Most High, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salem. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains, and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many that sought there after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Now, when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, the certain men who had broken the king's commandments were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. So he told them, I'm going to let bygones be bygones if you come over here and do what the king says. Sacrifice the way the king told you to. Okay. Verse 34. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they had lay hid, but said, let us die all in our innocency. Heaven and earth shall testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people. So the Greeks here went ahead and killed them on the Sabbath day, knowing that the Hebrews would not fight on the Sabbath day. So they wouldn't even honor them and let them have their Sabbath and then fight them the next day. They went ahead and killed them on their Sabbath day. Men, women, children, everything on the Sabbath day. But see, these are the things that they want hidden. Okay? The fact that they were forcing these people to follow the ways of the king, forcing them to follow the ways of the Greek, forcing them to call themselves Greeks. Okay? There's actually verse 38 right there. And you can see on the side that there's all these precepts. And you can see Hebrews 11 and 37 right there. Okay? So Paul is quoting this. Daniel, they're getting the stuff right here. There's all these different, precepts all over the place. Okay? So now, when you hear, let's go to get that Galatians chapter 3 and 28. The famous verse that Christians just love to say, love to go to. It says, there is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. Okay? They're not talking about these Greeks. They're talking about people like this who are calling themselves Greeks. How they're the same. Okay, that's why in this story, he talks about how the Milwaukee Buckstar was a black Greek, because the black Greeks were Israelites that were forced to convert and call themselves Greeks. That's why you have Greeks looking like this. And those are the Greeks that Paul was converting back, because they had forgotten the ways of their fathers, because they were forced to by these Greeks. That's why this information is so important to understand. When you sit in the churches, they'll say, it says Jew nor Greek, so a Jew and everybody else. Okay, well, when they make movies, they're not. I don't see a bunch of different people in these movies. They concentrate on these Greeks. They accepted this Greek because he, was going to bring them positive PR. But for the first 18 years of his life, they wouldn't even give him papers. Right? So I hope this lesson, lets you understand that during the time of the Greeks, many Greeks decided to go ahead and follow the ways of the Greeks because they knew they would get money, status. Okay? And that's what a lot of people in the society do. They get money and status for following the ways of the heathen. Okay? And if you want to follow, that's why Most High, or Mashiach said, if you pick up your cross and follow me, know that it's going to be tough. People are going to go against you. Let's actually just read that real quick. Matthew, 10, verse 34. But whosoever, so Matthew 10 and 34, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. So just like we read there in Maccabees, Mattathias was killed, one of the men who came to actually sacrifice on the altar. He was following the way, that man was trying to follow the ways of the king, and he got killed. His own brethren, they were killing each other. Okay? The other nations went and killed Mattathias and his family because they didn't want to follow their ways. Okay? So this information, I said, there's a lot more going on. It's not just really simple. Greek just means Greek. It means everybody. No, that's not what it means. And this is, like I said, and you start looking around, and that's why I feel like this young man here was raised up at this time. So that now when you talk about the Greek freak, you get these kinds of, like, wow, Greek, how is he Greek? Well, he's Greek just because he was born there. So that's where his citizenship is, but that's not his nationality. Okay. And it's always been about nationality, because if he was just like a regular Greek and it didn't matter, how come he was treated like a secondhand stepchild for the first 18 years of his life? And the only reason he got anything positive was because he became a 6'11", 7-foot phenomenal basketball player. Okay. And they can get something out of it. So then they accepted him. Okay. So like I said, when you're talking about Greeks, we got the black Greeks, and that's what the guy was talking about right here. And that's the black Greek right there, talking about Israelites who were converted into calling themselves Greeks. But when you watch movies, that's how they portray themselves, as being Greek. And, and Paul was pulling from a lot of these different books that have been hidden. There's a lot of his, a lot of his work is actually pulled from these books. If you don't read it, if you haven't read it, if you haven't been exposed to these hidden books, then you're not going to understand what he's writing. Okay. But I hope this video was eye-opening. Many of the Hebrews already know this, but for some other people who might not be aware of this, this is some good information, really good information. I feel like very vital. And you can't really understand a lot of things that are going on in the New Testament, of course, if you don't understand what happens in the Old Testament and in the Apocrypha and the hidden books. All right. Again, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. All praises to Earthly Mother, the Holy Spirit. Have a great evening. Shalom.